Welcome to ISIS in the Bible, the Winter Gathering, week number 7, the coming one. The question today is, do you think there is a Savior returning? Man, we had so many similarities on this, and it's very invigorating. And then you hear everybody's stories of who around the world is saying the same type of things, and you can see that unity is just coming. Across time and culture, stories of the returning Savior have been echoed through sacred text and ancient wisdom. But what does it truly mean for someone to come again? Physically, spiritually, or as an awakening within us? If a Savior is returning, how would we recognize them? And are we prepared to receive them? Or is it possible that the coming one has always been here, waiting for us to see with new eyes? Glad you could join us today. Okay, what's happening in the sky? Your world, your divine light that shines upon you. Let us briefly mention the total lunar eclipse on March 14th that happens just days before Uranus moves into Taurus on March the 18th. You can't make this stuff up. We will touch more upon it as we get closer, but just so you know, this is on the meridian of Alexandria, where the Great Sphinx lies. So March 4th, 13th, 14th, depending where you live, the peak of where it's going to happen is over mostly South and North America. Again, this is happening on a cusp, and it's the cusp between Leo and Virgo. And what's there is the Great Sphinx. So this is all more proof that what we're going through, the sky is saying you're going through. Get ready. Share the love, because we're being imbued by love. So this beautiful, like I said, this is on the circle of fifth. This is what we got to teach kids. This is music. This is not music theory. This is music. You don't have to say music fact. This is music. So when it's sitting on these cuffs, we harmonize. We absolutely vibrate. So I just threw a little picture here for me in Windsor. It's going to be, that total lunar eclipse is going to be at almost 3 a.m. for me. So I'm going to set an alarm and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to state some intentions. Okay, on February 28th, this beautiful alignment happens in the sky where the divine feminine, okay, this is rising in the east, which is still at 0 degree Aries, which is a rise, which is the Phoenix rising, and this is why we're upon what we're upon. Pure love is back. The Christ within, that we want to call it, is the divine feminine. She's going to be aligned with Arcturus, and Arcturus is the coming one. So what happens on this harvest line here is all about you and your position on the stage. Okay, you connecting with yourself. That's why we're feeling this way. So on February 28th, this peaks on this harvest line. Ceres is the Grim Reaper, your own personal Grim Reaper, the harvester. But what's beautiful is I got a sign yesterday. I bit my lip and I go, what the heck? Man, why did I bite my lip? So I went looked at my chart. It made me find this beautiful alignment between Ceres and my natal black moon, which means deep spiritual signs. Well, yesterday, right at the peak, is when I finished my presentation to 40 people. And it means a reconnection. So Ceres doesn't only separate the seed or us from its plant or us in this visible life or what have you. It reestablishes relationships. Because when we leave the visible, like the friends that we talked about, the woman and the man, they will come back. They will rejoin a new relationship with a new womb. Your same mother in a different body, but a same relationship. So I got in a relationship with 40 people at the peak of this Ceres. So remember, Ceres is about removing relationships, but also restoring relationships. So that's what this harvest line means. All right, this beautiful harvest line. Okay. So since the dawn of time, humanity has looked to the skies, awaiting a great return. A savior, a guide, a celestial sign. But what if the coming one has never been distant, never separate, but has always been within? Arcturus, the guiding star of Boots, has long been a symbol of wisdom and awakening, calling us not to wait, but to remember. What do we see when we gaze into the mirror of the soul? Are we seeing something outside ourselves, or realizing that we have been the ones that we've been waiting for all along? And many people have said that today. So the stars are not just a reminder, it's an actual energy that brings us to you. It's not a coincidence that we're all doing this and feeling this. And when some people leave the visible for whatever reason, we know that there's something that needed to happen for the greater good of all. They will be back. For everybody that's listening to here on YouTube, if you can wrap your loving arms around Douglas. Douglas is a 1-year-old boy who his mom and dad had to leave the visible. And Douglas, we're wrapping our loving arms around you. So high above the harvest line where Spica marks the seed, because Spica is the crop to be harvested. Arcturus shines the guide and light. Arcturus is above Spica. So if you go and look and you see Spica, there's a way to look at that. And I'll do that one day. I'll show everybody. Arcturus shines as a guiding light in ancient lore. The constellation Boots is the celestial herdsman, right? Gathers up the sheep. Us was seen as the one who leads, watching over the cycles of time and growth. Just as a farmer follows the rhythms of the earth, Arcturus calls us to follow the path of inner awakening. Are we merely sowing and reaping in the physical world, or are we ready to recognize the greater journey? One where the coming one is not just awaited, but realized within. So as he stands in the mirror, waiting for the one who will come, he searches for an answer, the guide, the savior, yet the reflection does not show another but himself, bathed in divine light. Could it be that he is the one he's been waiting for? Is the return not an arrival from outside, but an awakening from within? Like Da Vinci's Mona Lisa, a perfect synthesis of the masculine and feminine, because he made a picture of himself, self-portrait of the divine within him. He now sees the reflection of what it truly is, no longer just the Christ, but also the wisdom of Mary Magdalene and the nurturing grace of the Divine Mother. So we showed that in this image here. When you look to yourself, there's both Marys there, and that's all over the Egyptian walls. Both Marys are everywhere. The two sacred aspects has never been separate from him. They were always within, waiting to be recognized. The coming one was never outside, never apart. The return was not an arrival, but a remembrance of wholeness. Not just the man, not just Jesus, but the divine feminine, the whole. And like Laura said, we are all the parts. We are all the essences of all the lights, unity, above, within, around us, the whole earth, Mother Nature, all of it. We have to be it all. And that true revelation of when you look in the mirror and look in that you are the one you've been waiting for, but it's not you, the body, it's that essence of love that's got to be included. So reflection. Who do you see in the mirror? Are you waiting for something outside yourself, or realizing the return has always been within? The search is over. The waiting has ended. The mirror has revealed the truth. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the divine one coming? On the harvest line we call fall. The coming one is never a distant savior, but the light that has always been within. We didn't need somebody to come and tell us. We had somebody come to remind us. We're always reminded by someone. Is there a literal Jesus? Yeah, there can be a literal Jesus, but he wasn't the only one. We're infinite. And so you're the one now that's going to shed that light from within. So we should have 8 billion names on the wall in the Bible, right? Who shared the light, because that's where we're going. That's where we're really going. Like the stars above, we are not separate from the divine, but reflections of it, waiting to awaken. Now the question is no longer when will they return, but instead when will I recognize that I'm already here. And as we know that we've shared this before, Arcturus is on the harvest line, and this is the harvest line. In 31 AD, both Marys and the sun are in the sky when Jesus reportedly left the visible in the Bible. It's an actual event that happens in the sky, and it affects every single one of us. And was there a guy named Jesus that died on the cross that day? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The whole point is the message is quite clear. And we're feeling like we're the one, and this alignment is happening. Why is that alignment happening? Because it's meant to. It's time for us. The ancient Indians have what's called a Vira Nirvana Samvat. It means liberation. It means nirvana, where you have this beautiful feeling. Well, that was 558 years before Jesus died on the cross, and there you go. You got both Marys and the sun in the sky. And that happens on the harvest line. So you reach nirvana when the lights come upon you, the loving lights, the divine love within you. It happens. So even the ancient timekeepers knew. Calendars were never just for measuring days, but for marking the great cycles of return. The Vikram Samvat, aligned with the harvest line, carried the awareness that the heavens themselves foretold the coming one, which is you. It's not an event. It's a cosmic rhythm. Just as Arcturus stands above Spica, guiding the reaping of the harvest, so too does the realization dawn that the awaited one is already here. It never left. It's just us being induced by love. The true liberation was never about a future arrival, but the awakening of the divine presence that's always been. So nirvana means liberation, freedom from the noise and the connection with pure love and unity. Nirvana is not something you get when you leave the visible. It's a cosmic divine cycle that we are upon right now. Rejoice. Remember, it's here, and that the sooner you submit to that love that is shining through you, the quicker you feel the no choice nirvana that is upon us, the liberation, that freedom. So there are many people around the world reminded of this. The Buddha, Horus, the Egyptian walls, everywhere. We're infinite, and the story will always go on. It's the never-ending story. And that's all we have for today.